Hi, it's Miss Muller again, here to help you guys with the Diary of Anne Frank practice quiz. Number 1, how are Anne and Margot different? I uploaded a couple passages from the story and highlighted some information about Anne and Margot. In the first one, Mr. Van Daan is speaking about Anne. Why aren't you nice and quiet like your sister Margot? Why do you have to show off all the time? So this is showing that Anne is loud and Margot is quiet. Anne seems to get in trouble a lot, while Margot usually stays in the background and does not get in trouble. In the section on the left, Mrs. Frank is speaking with Anne. You must not answer back. Watch Margot. She's always courteous with them. So Anne likes to talk back. Margot, on the other hand, is very respectful and does not talk back. She is very courteous. Courteous means nice, so she's very kind and nice to them. She does not disagree with them. She does not talk back to them like Anne does. In the last section, Mrs. Frank is speaking to Anne again. She tells Anne, "You are wild, self-willed." This shows that Anne cannot really control herself. Anne's argument is that she has to fight things out for herself. However, Mrs. Frank said, Margot doesn't fight. Anne is a fighter. Margot is not. At the end of the conversation, Anne is very frustrated and believes that everything she does is not right. Everything that Margot does is right. Anne wishes she could be Margot. Number 2. What are Anne's feelings about going into hiding? I pulled out a few excerpts from the end of the scenes in which Anne speaks to her diary. At the beginning of the story, she speaks about going into hiding for the first time. At 5 o'clock this morning, Mother woke me and told me to hurry and get dressed. Our hiding place was to be upstairs in the building where Father used to have his business. Father knew the Van Daans, but we had never met them. So this is showing she doesn't really know what to expect going into hiding, but she's eager to find out. The next excerpt is from a little bit later on in the story, after they have been in hiding for a few months. For myself, there are so many things: to ride a bike again, to laugh till my belly aches, to have new clothes from the skin out, to have a hot tub filled to overflowing and wallow in it for hours, to be back in school with my friends. Anne is a little disappointed here. She just wants to be free. She feels locked up in hiding. She just wants to be free. She feels locked up in hiding and is dreaming of what she will do once she is out. Number 3. What does Mr. Frank advise Anne to do while in hiding? Mr. Frank gives Anne a few gifts. Some of the gifts include pictures of her movie stars, when they first go into hiding, Mr. Frank gives Anne a few gifts. He gives her some pictures of her movie stars and also a diary. Anne is very excited about the diary because she had never had one before. Anne is so excited and wants to run downstairs to grab a pencil, but she cannot. Then the reality sets in. Mr. Frank tells her she is not allowed to leave upstairs. There are no walls, there are no bolts, no locks that anyone can put on your mind. So even though Anne is not free, her mind is still free. Number 4. What do Anne's Hanukkah presents reveal about her? Even though they are in hiding, Anne still comes up with a way to get everybody a gift for Hanukkah. For Margot, you have never lost your temper. You never will, I fear. You are so good, but if you should, put all your crosswords here. She tears open the package, a new crossword puzzle book. For Mrs. Van Daan, what is it? It's hair shampoo. I took all the odds and ends of soap and mixed them with the last of my toilet water. For Mr. Van Daan, cigarettes. 2 of them. Pim found some old pipe tobacco in the pocket lining of his coat, and we made them, or rather, Pim did. For Mrs. Frank, here's an IOU that I promised to pay. 10 hours of doing whatever you say. Signed, Anne Frank. Mrs. Frank, touched, takes Anne in her arms, holding her close. For Mr. Frank, it's a muffler to put round your neck. I knitted it in the dark each night after I'd gone to bed. For Mooshie, Anne hands Peter a ball of paper with a string attached to it. For Mr. Dussel, they're earplugs to put in your ears so you won't hear me. Number 5. You can watch this video to see the relationship between Anne and Peter evolve. Number 5. In what way does Anne's relationship with Peter change throughout the play? You can watch this short video to see how their relationship changes. At the beginning, they were strangers, but by the... Why? At the beginning, they were strangers, but by the end, they became very close. Number 6. Why does Mrs. Frank want to make the Van Daans leave the secret attic? Number 6. Why does Mrs. Frank want to make the Van Daans leave the secret attic? In the middle of the night, Mrs. Frank finds out that Mr. Van Daan was stealing bread. The bread! He was stealing the bread! Take your things and get out! He steals once, he'll steal again. Number 7. What eventually happens to the families in the attic at the end of the play? This is at the very end of the play, Act 2, Scene 4. And so it seems our stay here is over. We can each take a bag and whatever it will hold of clothing. Then they were sent to a concentration camp. Mr. Krahler wanted to find out how they got caught. It was the thief who told them. Number 8. What sort of attitude do the final words in Anne's voice convey? In spite of everything, I still believe that people are really good at heart. Anne is optimistic, even until the end. She never lost hope. No matter how many horrible things happened, Anne still believed that people were good deep down.